So welcome to our AI Masterclass webinar. My name is Caroline Quintanar. I lead our marketing and partnerships for Wursta. So this masterclass is a abridged version of our event that we hosted back in March in person. So due to popular demand, we decided to offer a virtual session. So today we're going to cover the following, just a few opening remarks from myself, some housekeeping items. Then my colleague Maurice Manning will take you on a wonderful tour of the era of AI and agents. Our guest customer engineer, Catayoun Azarm, will be taking us through a live demo of Agent Space. Then we'll hand over to our Wursta subject matter expert, Matt Howitt. He'll take us through AI in practice, looking at several different demos. And then we'll be using the final minutes of the meeting to kind of have open Q&A and also discuss what it looks like to build that effective AI strategy. So if you could just go to the next one, Mo. I don't have many remarks. Just to give you an overview very quickly about Wursta. So we are a Google Cloud Premier partner. We've been a partner for over a decade, primarily in the US, and we've now expanded into the UK and EMEA. And so we're very excited for you to join us to share all our expertise with you and hopefully find some use cases that we can work on with you in the future. Last but not least, the housekeeping. Please try to stay muted during the presentations just because it can cause feedback and can be distracting. Please try to use the Q&A feature to submit questions. So you'll see that down at the bottom of your screen, you'll see a grid of 9 different dots in meeting tools, and you'll have Q&A. Any questions that come through there, we will be looking at those at the end of the session. And just a reminder, it will be recorded. Finally, we also will be running a quick poll at the end of this session, just a couple of questions for yourselves for us to better understand where you are on your AI journey and how we can help you. So with that, I am going to hand over to Mo. We call him affectionately that, but of course he's Maurice Manning, our principal cloud architect here at Wursta. Take it away, Mo.
Thanks for that introduction, Caroline, and good morning, good afternoon, and potentially good evening, everyone. This is going to be a lot faster of the whiz-bang through of the era of AI. So let's start with where it's all been growing from, which is a lot with Google AI. A lot of it started back in 2017 when Google made the investment to research AI by also purchasing an arm which became part of Google. As a household name, I'm sure a lot of us have all heard of, regardless of our choices of which technology we use, we've all heard of Google Home, and also you might have heard of something called BERT, which is now more affectionately known as Gemini. And then for the more technical ones of us, you might have also heard of Google Palm. These were all the foundations that have led to where we are with AI in general. Gemini became available in Vertex AI once Google had actually done enough ethical foundational research so that things like what are we doing with people's data? Does it hold personal identifiable data? Is it within the social economic remits of how it answers to people? Were all done before their models were made public to everybody. Google took a bolder step last year, I believe, if I remember correctly, and they made Gemini available to everybody. So Gemini wasn't just now available on a web page, or if you happen to have an Android device on an app in Android, it has replaced or is rolling out to replace the functionality within Google Homes. It is available in the app, on the webs, Android, iOS, and more importantly, it's available in Vertex AI and also Google Workspace. Google have created 4 powerful tool sets. There are a couple more, but they're kind of out of scope for this today. Gemini, which, as I mentioned, is literally available to everyone. Google AI Studio, for those of us that are more tech savvy, more tech orientated, looking to maybe explore how I can potentially use the Gemini voice models as part of my code. You can use the Google AI Studio to sample that and almost use it as, sometimes I find, a more powerful version of Gemini, because you get access to the experimental models as well. Notebook LM, this is a nice powerhouse, which I think doesn't get enough publicity right now, but I think it's growing. And it allows you to basically pull in a selection of the information that you need. So it could be, I used it for some training that I did, and I took all my electronic notes, I put them in there, and then I asked it to give me summaries on different topics, and I asked it to generate revision questions for me to be able to make sure I understand the type of context. And I even gave it some of the sample questions that Google provide, because it was for a Google exam, and said, in the same style, produce questions based on all the content I gave you, and it was brilliant for helping me revise. And then what we're going to see more of today, the powerhouse that is for the enterprise, or I should say your business, is the Vertex AI suite with Agent Space. Before I go into Agent Space and before I pass over to my colleague Catayoun, let's just have a look at how we actually got to and what's involved here. So with the LLM models, the power has truly become because of 3 different things, and this is why agents are the next era in AI. Multimodality, I always struggle with that one, so you can laugh, it's fine. And the thinking models. So allowing the LLMs not only to understand the text that we type in, but understand, if I wanted it to, from my speech or from a video or also from an image. Agentic workflows, as it's called, but allowing the AI to be able to follow certain paths for certain things. Now, oversimplifying it, it might be, you have provided me 55 documents, and if this document looks like finance, then categorize it and tag it as finance. If this document looks like it's something that's legal, tag it and make it legal. If it looks like it's a receipt, tag it as billing and receipts. And then the knowledge frontier on this is about being able to take in all your data and being able to use your data as the foundation for what is returned when you speak to your AI agents. So one of the terms that is more common out there at the moment is called RAG, Retrieval Augmented. I forget.
Generation.
Sorry? Generation. There we go. I always stumble on that one. I don't know why. Thanks for my colleagues. And that basically means you can feed it all of your documents. So if we take the scenario which every business has, a HR department, stick all your HR policies in a particular folder, let the AI be able to reference it, and then when you ask questions, it will be context based on your policies rather than something it finds on the web or something it's been trained on, which is completely out of date. Click here. So agents are the future for now. There's going to be changing futures just like everything else, but agents are the future. And so far, you can categorize them into different types of agents. Customer agents and employee agents. kind of the same thing, different information coming out. Customer agents, you might think more of as assisting customers with their queries, but it could be a customer agent that says, if you see that you've put these 4 ingredients in your shopping cart, if you buy these 2 other items, then you could make this recipe, and then it pops up the recipe and they can choose to make it or not. You know, you can take the experience to a different level. For employees, like I mentioned, there's the HR querying, but it might be something like the mundane stuff that everybody hates answering from a HR point whenever I've spoken to them, which is, how many days off am I entitled to? You know, that sort of thing. Creative agents, they've helped me in many of my presentations lately in generating bespoke art and graphics, rather than me having to speak and hound our poor graphics guy who's probably up to his neck in far more important things than requesting whim from me. I can now just generate some graphics which hit the spot, look how I want them to, and if they don't, I can very easily change them, and it takes minutes rather than hours, because I need to wait, because I need to speak to someone, etc. I'm going to skip over data agents for a minute and say code agents. For developers or want to be developers or advanced scripters, code agents are particularly good. It allows you to sanity check your data, get away sometimes from mundane things like writing unit tests for your code, allows you to work a problem through a lot quicker than trying to search the internet for all the answers and not finding quite the right thing, because agents can do that quickly. Data agents and security agents, while not the same, they also are, and I know that sounds confusing. The difference between the data agent and the security agent is literally the data it is looking at. So if I single out the security agent first, the security agent is looking for threats, it's looking for weird behavior, it's looking for places of vulnerability, depending on what you've asked it or what it's meant to do. Data agents, again, using data, but rather than using logs and telemetry coming in, it's using your data potentially to generate sales forecasts. So you could be pulling in streaming sales data, you could be pulling in live events from around the world and trying to work out which ones are the most important you want to report on, which ones are going to have an impact on your business, like all the tariff stuff that is currently in the news. So you can use those for that. Generative AI has basically spun the world on its head. It's spun industries on their head as well. Everyone's trying to leverage it. Everyone wants to know how to use it. Everyone has ideas of how to use it, but they're not necessarily sure where it fits within the business. Because of that, it generates some resulting challenges that are growing, which AI can help with. Siloed search. So, you know, if for those people who aren't Google customers and are on things like SharePoint or other Dropbox or whatever, where you have your data, you'll find quite often that your departments have their data, and unless you know the right person or you happen to send a broadcast email, then you can't find information that somebody else holds. Also with that comes then, should that person have that data or should they not? So you could lead to privacy and data leakage risks across the enterprise without even, not in a malicious way, but just without even realizing that actually I can't share, for instance, that financial report with those people, for instance. And then fragmentation of that data. So you might have a core set of data, and then you've given it to Joe, you've given it to Mary, you've given it to Eob, and then, you know, they've all done their own different things on which one is the source of truth. You don't know who you can possibly work it out. It becomes harder if the person has left. So sometimes the dates don't always match up, that it's possible to say this is the source of truth. And so this is where Vertex AI comes in. With Agent Space, recently released by Google, it combines the power of Gemini, it combines the power of Notebook LM, and the power of Vertex AI suites and tools to allow you to have the interactive, intelligent, and most powerful search. It's not just about algorithms, it's not just about a specific data set. Whatever data you give it access to within, and I'll say this very clearly, within the remit of the access levels already set, then the person can see the data or at least know if the data exists. So what can employees do if they have agent space? They can search. They can summarize, they can generate content, and they can perform actions. One of the most powerful things I've found with Agent Space is the ability to say, find me details on, say, a new product. And you find that product, and then you ask for a summary of it. That's brilliant. Okay, and then you say, okay, I want to generate some jazzy looking graphics for a slide deck. So it generates that. And then you say, let me email it to my marketing department for approval. And then they go do whatever they want to do. And you can do all of that from in one portal with a couple of clicks or with a couple of sentences, all powered by Agent Space. Agent Space isn't just a Google tool, though. It allows you to plug into many other third-party vendors. As you can see here, there's Google Drive, but there's also Slack, Box, SharePoint, Confluence, and OneDrive. But there are also many more connectors, many more coming, and partners like us, Wursta, are capable of also generating ones that don't exist so that you can connect to that data. That being said, I think I've given you a whiz-bang pop of what's coming and what's the value of Agent Space and Google. So now I would like to hand it over to my colleague, Catayoun, who's going to give you a nice live demo.
Thank you very much, Maurice. Yeah, welcome. My name is Catayoun. I'm a custom engineer based in Dublin. And today I will show you Agent Space, our enterprise-grade search and agent platform announced late last year, designed to securely unlock AI for all your employees. So before we dive into the demo, think of Agent Space as a personalized intelligent hub for every employee. It's a managed software as a service-like service, easy to deploy, and it requires no existing workspace or Google Cloud dependencies. Crucially, Agent Space is built on Google Cloud, offering enterprise-grade security and privacy like data isolation, VPC, and CMAC. This focus on data sovereignty and compliance is a key differentiator. And unlike many other tools, Agent Space offers native connectors to your enterprise systems like Salesforce, ServiceNow, SharePoint, etc. We will see that in a second, with robust ACL support, ensuring users only see data they're authorized for. So it works across your systems and not just within one. And the demo environment that I will show you in a second uses Neurovibe AI. This is a fictional company. And the look and feel can be, of course, customized for your organization. I will show that to you in a second. Okay, cool. So that's the Agent Space homepage. I will go quickly over the homepage. So the main focus, of course, is the central prompt and search bar in the middle. You can easily toggle data sources you want to include, for example, enterprise systems, Google Drive, Slack, anything you want. So here on the right, you will see a couple of data sources, SharePoint, announcements, calendar, and so on and so forth. Then you can also upload stuff here and also here with a little plus. Then we see here a little web icon. if we toggle this icon on or off, we can include grounding on Google search. That means that all the answers are basically based on the latest web data. Yes, so below the bar, there are recommended prompts and also icons for your connected enterprise applications. And yes, here on the left, you will see a little menu. And on the menu here, you can see agents. I will show you that in a second. Also prompts, that's sort of like a prompt gallery, notebook LM. Then here, a couple of old prompts. And here you find pre-built agents from Google that you can use. There will be coming a lot more. It's just a couple of agents that Google built already, and but you can be very excited for a lot more to come. Cool. Okay, so now let's run through some scenarios as Catayoun. I'm a salesperson at Neurovibe. Let's assume I need some info on a new account, the Future Gamers account. So what I will do is I will quickly copy and paste the prompt because it's easier, but you can easily just write something in here. But I will paste this prompt, tell me about Future Gamers account. There we go, I submit. And now you can notice how Agent Space provides a concise, summarized answer right away, pulling information from various connected sources like Slack, Salesforce, and also SharePoint. What's very cool, the summary includes citations, grounding the information in your actual enterprise data. So you will see, yeah, many different information pieces. This clearly shows Agent Space's search and also summarization capabilities that Maurice was explaining before across all your data. So if you click on, for example, a citation, I will quickly see where this piece of information comes from. Okay, now I would say let's ask a little follow-up question. So let's assume we want to know if they are a good prospect for Neurovibe's latest data annotation services. So what I will do is I will just simply ask, are they, so we're talking about Future Gamers, a good prospect for Neurovibe's latest data annotation services? And again, in a matter of second, Agent Space understands the context from the previous query, provides a reasoned answer, again supported by enterprise and optionally web sources. In this case, it's just enterprise sources. Yes. And I think what's also very important is to remember that all results respect user permissions, so ACLs, which means that I'm only I can only see the information I have access to. Okay. Cool. Now that we saw search and summarization, let's have a look at how the generation pillar works. Let's assume I want to create marketing content. So a marketing one-pager that talks about my company offerings. So I will go to new conversation, just paste the prompt, create content for a marketing one-pager that talks about Neurovibe's offerings. So now, Agent Space, as you can see, generates the marketing copy, grounding it in relevant internal documents shown on the right, and also, again, complete with citations. Let me see, is it? Yes. So, yes, so here on the right, you will have all the search results. So where the data comes from and the different sources, basically. And let's assume we want to also add a little image to this pitch. So an AI generated image. So what I will do is I will just send a follow-up message saying, generate an image for the above marketing pitch. I hope this works, because sometimes it gives out very weird pictures, but yeah, there we go. Okay, this is fine, I think. This is actually a very cool picture, I think. So Agent Space here uses Google's Imagen model to generate a relevant image that you can easily download, of course. And this highlights the multimodal generation capabilities, bringing Google's latest AI innovation directly to your employees. What's also very cool is, of course, you can upload images, documents, or just videos by using the plus sign, and then ask questions about them, of course. Great. Now I wanted to show you something a bit different. Let's assume I want to email these benefits to a contact. So let's assume I want to write an email to John Doe about the benefits of MioVibes AI and send it to a specific email. We can take this as a follow-up email, as a follow-up message, or we just start a new conversation. And what it does now, and this is what I personally find very cool, is Agent Space drafts the email based on the context. So it presents a form where I can review, edit, add recipients, and authorize the sending. So as you can see here, we have the subject, the content. We can change the content, of course. And if I click on authorize, it's going to be sent to John Doe. And this is a very clear example of an action performed by Agent Space because it performs a task grounded in enterprise context. Okie dokie. Another very cool capability or area is our weather agent that you can see here on the left as well. It's a pre-built agent by Google because Agent Space can also invoke custom tools. Let's say I have a meeting in Atlanta. So what I can do is I can either take the weather agent here, or I can just simply click on new conversation and ask Agent Space, hey, I have a meeting in their Atlanta office. How's the weather there? Let's see. So it says NeuroVibe Weather Assistant. The weather in C, it directly connects to our weather agent. The weather in Atlanta is currently misty with a temperature of 62 degrees and so on and so forth. So yeah, for me personally, also a very cool example because it uses a configured weather agent connected to an external API, like, for example, Open Weather Map, to get real-time information. And this shows how Agent Space can perform actions by integrating with other tools and also APIs. So what if I want to find company events and track one? So let's say I want to know if there's any events coming up for NeuroVibe in 2024 and 2025, of course. So are there any NeuroVibe events coming up in 2025? Okay. Okay, there's apparently no event coming up in 2025. Okay, there is, I don't know what's happening right now. Maybe they changed the data or something, but normally there would be an event that we can then add to our calendar. So it can also, Agent Space can also prepare a calendar invite. Again, just like the email, I can authorize it and then the event is added directly to my Google Calendar. Another very practical action, integrating seamlessly with user productivity tools. Okay, so now let's look at a more complex task using one of our built-in advanced agents. So Let's go to the deep research agent. It's here. What I can do here is, so the research assistant is designed for more complex questions requiring multi-step reasoning and analysis. It's similar to Gemini's deep research. So what we can do here, it will take a while, but what we can do here is we can create a report for a more in-depth, like if you're more interested in something in-depth, then we can use the deep research assistant. So let's assume we want to create a report analyzing Apple, its products, USP, competition, and so on. And in the end, we also want to know if they're a good fit for our company offerings. So it will now take a couple of seconds, but while it runs, what is happening here? First, it creates a research plan, breaking basically the complex question into a couple of queries. So you can see here the overview, the product portfolio, USP, and so on. And also in the end, I want to know if there's a potential synergy between Apple and Nearby. Then if I click on Start Research, what it does now is it systematically searches internal sources first, and then the web if needed. So it reasons over the gathered information to answer each sub-question. So basically, it divides the question into a couple of sub-questions. And in the end, like you will see here all the sub-questions, but like if this is over or finished, then it compiles everything to a comprehensive report. And the final output is then a detailed analysis, easily exportable. So that's very cool. And if there is, so I personally really like it to just listen to my to podcasts or any sort of audio summaries. So if you prefer this, then it also provides, for example, a audio summary. That's a very convenient way to consume the content. For example, if you're traveling or I don't know, cooking, like this is, I think, very cool. And this showcases a very powerful multi-step action capability for in-depth analysis. Take a couple of seconds. So you see it's very, very specific. There we go. Here's the final report. And in the end, it should also give us a very nice audio summary. And because we are a bit short in time, I will not listen to that audio summary, but you can try out the capability in NotebookLM on your own and see how well this works. Okay. So Agent Space, as we have seen now, continuously integrates Google's latest AI innovations. We saw Gemini powering the search, summarization, and reasoning, and also Imagen for image generation. We have also integrated NotebookLM. So after performing a search, users can save the results directly into a personal, secure NotebookLM space for deeper exploration and analysis, respecting all ACLs and security controls. Furthermore, Agent Space includes a prompt gallery here. So here you can just explore for working with your Agent Space assistant. So you can just get some inspiration here. And also an agent gallery here on the left. So basically, if employees want to leverage pre-built Google agents or company-specific agents, they can use it in here. Or you can easily even create your own no-code agents using our intuitive builder to automate simple tasks like a thanks generator example, or any other agent. So we have a couple of ones here already generated by Google. And if you click on Generate Agent here, then you can see here You can give it a name, a goal, instructions, and so on. And you, in a matter of minutes, you will create your own agents. This feature is still in preview, but it's definitely on the roadmap to get general available. Okay, so now to quickly wrap up, Agent Space provides a unified search, so across all your enterprise data and the web. Intelligent summarization, so you will get quick answers grounded in your data with citations and all the sources next to it. A versatile generation, so you can create text, images, and more using powerful models like Gemini and Imagen. And lastly, which I personally find super cool, are the meaningful actions. So you can automate tasks like sending emails, scheduling meetings, running complex research, and interacting with custom tools. So in a nutshell, it's a secure, compliant, enterprise-ready platform built in Google Cloud, designed to be the central AI hub for all your employees. Thank you very much. And with that, I'll give it back to Matt. Is that?
Yes. Let me get set up here. Trying to get my presentation started.
If there is any question from the audience about Agent Space, you can always get in contact with a customer engineer at Google, or if you see, okay, this is something that might be of interest for us, don't hesitate to contacting us. We are happy to help go over all your questions, and then bring Agent Space to your company.
Awesome. Thank you, Catayoun. Thank you, Maurice. You guys teed me up really well just then, talking about agents, going over Agent Space demo, and adding specialized tools and things like that. My name is Matt. I'm a senior solutions architect here at Wursta. I've been working with Wursta for a little over a year and a half now, but I've been in the technology space for well over a decade at this point. I've worked in multiple places. I'm based out of Austin, Texas, so a lot of companies here in Austin, which means I've had the ability to work on quite a variety of projects: mobile apps, web apps, blockchain, and of course now AI. And my slides are going to be a little bit of a show and tell. There's going to be some really cool use cases I'm going to be showing off. And the idea behind it is to hopefully spark inspiration for how some of these things can be implemented into your business. And I'm really excited to share these new slides because these have actually been updated since last time we've given them in London. And the reason for that is Google Next happened. And there were a lot of really cool announcements, especially for us nerdy developers. And I just felt like it was really important for this new information to be shared. And just as Mo had mentioned, talking about agents, I'm going to kick things off with first talking about Agent Space and some of the new announcements from Google. And then I'm going to go into more of a retail area. I'm going to drift away from agents for a little bit, and we'll talk about maybe some other use cases for AI that aren't agent related, just in case there's something there that you might be interested in as well. So let's first talk about unlocking new possibilities. And the thing I'm most excited about is Agent Developer Kit. And this is what recently came out at Google Next about 2 weeks ago. So information on it is still really fresh. And the thing that I'm digging into this code, I'm playing around with it, and it's giving us the ability to create custom agents and tools inside of Vertex. We're also able to deploy agents that we create with Agent Developer Kit inside of Agent Space or in their own container. So if you have an idea for an agent and you want it to exist inside of Agent Space, or maybe you have a custom application that you want to add it to, we can do that as well. Some of the features of Agent Developer Kit are the ability to create a multi-agent architecture. And you've already seen this sort of in practice with Catayoun, and Maurice had sort of brushed on this a little bit as well, where there's specialized agents, there's data science agents, there's weather agents, and then they all sort of work in concert together to complete a single task, right? Another really cool thing about Agent Developer Kit is the fact that it's open source. And something that I really appreciate working with Google is they don't necessarily believe that there's going to be one model to rule them all. Gemini 2.5 just came out, and I'll talk about that briefly. But there's also a lot of really great specialized models out there as well. And we'll brush on Agent Garden here in a minute, but if you're familiar with it, Google last year came out with the Model Garden. And what that did is it opened up the Vertex AI platform, the one that we build agent spaces built on top of it, but we're building custom agents on top of. And it allowed other LLM and model builders to showcase their model there as well. So if I'm building a custom application and Gemini 2.5 or Gemini Flash isn't quite cutting it the way that I want, I can give Llama a try. I can give Claude a try as well. And maybe I'll get better or different results with that. So Google is really hoping, instead of necessarily just focusing in on, hey, Gemini is going to be the future, which, of course, it is one of the best performing models, they really want you to focus on the platform itself. On top of the open source aspect of it, there's also the tool integration. So we're able to build custom agents. And then just like Catayoun and Maurice have mentioned, there's all these tools that hook into it, right? There's the weather application that Catayoun showed off. There's also the email creation and the being able to create calendar contacts. And those are great tools, but the fact that we now have a way as developers to create custom tools and make API calls to other services really unlocks new possibilities. A couple other goodies that we got from the Google Next 25 talk was, like I mentioned, Gemini 2.5, which is Google's most advanced model yet. And something I'm really excited about is the streaming audio and video APIs. And what's cool about this is I've been playing around with it, and it allows you to communicate with models in a more natural way. So a more natural and fluid way, I should say. So you're able to open up a streaming video window, or you can do a streaming audio session, and you communicate to it as if you were doing like FaceTime or Google Meet, or talking to it on the phone. And it makes the user experience significantly better, and the how quickly information is delivered just makes it more natural. So just as I mentioned earlier, Agent Garden is something pretty recent as well. And I have this slide up here because I wanted to call out a couple things. So we have the agent starter kits, which is not unlike what Catayoun had mentioned earlier as well, with a couple of sample prompts and things like that, and being able to create your own agents. These are a little bit more bespoke and unique to their each use cases. So you could imagine having a couple of these different starter kits working again in concert under one sort of agent to create a goal again. So just sort of calling some of these out, think about these in your business as well. Maybe there's some template matching that you could do. Maybe you're not a travel agent, but you do customer service, or maybe retrieval augmented generation. That's a really big one. We have a lot of people ask us about that because that's a really simple agent. All that it's doing is looking at a corpus of information. You're able to ask it questions, and it's grounded inside of that data. So you're not worrying about it hallucinating or anything like that. And to Maurice's point, people in HR, internal applications as well, that's a really big use case. The tool integration, and Catayoun had mentioned being able to connect to Calendar. We have Calendar on there, but there's also Box. We have Jira, and you notice at the bottom it's cut off because the page is so long I couldn't fit it all into one screenshot. There's a lot of different tools that we can integrate with, and these are just samples of tools. We could, like I said, we could build custom tools as well. And I wanted to call out, I've got a red box around it, but Amazon S3 bucket. I don't know if anybody else noticed it on the page. When I first saw that, I was like, what is this? And I don't think in any other Google talk or Google webinar, they're going to mention Amazon S3 like we are now, because again, Google wants you to concentrate on supporting the platform. They don't necessarily care that if your data is coming from Amazon S3, because they know that you're going to get blown away by using Vertex AI and using Agent Builder and things like that. So I thought it was really cool that that was one of the top tool integrations. And it just sort of shows how we're able to integrate with things outside of the Google ecosystem. So shifting kind of more into the show and tell sort of things. I have a really big live demo at the end, so fingers crossed that's going to go well, to show off more of the agent space features and agent developer kit. But I kind of wanted to show what some of these agents look like in practice. And this is a really simple example of something that a lot of people use already. Of course, it's chatbots. Us as customers are getting more acquainted with chatting. I know chatbots used to be something where people would be really hesitant to communicate with them. Now, with how nuanced they've become and how good at their job they are, and with generative AI, of course, they're able to pick up on sentiment analysis significantly better, be able to detect intent, and they're able to actually handle complex queries. So they're able to take action as well, just like inside of agent space, where maybe you have a booking agent or you have a customer service agent and you want to be able to get the order status or check stock level. The way that chatbots used to work before, it's almost an insult to call them chatbots now because they're agents, right? They're actually able to take action and do specialized events. So some features about what I'm showing you here: the customer satisfaction. People are happier that they're able to resolve issues around the clock, essentially. So the great thing about agents is they're always on, right? So maybe your business is closed for the day, but they wanted, like I said, check on that order status, or they wanted to see if you got something in stock. And it's just giving you one more avenue for customers to be able to reach you and interact with you, and it's a really good sticking point. So not unlike the last slide I just showed you, this one has a little extra zing added to it. And you can see here that we're having kind of a chat with this agent, and it's guiding you through steps on how to do something. And how many times have you had trouble articulating a problem or conveying an idea, right? And if you just had the capability of sharing a video or a photo, or maybe even saying it out loud, maybe writing it down, just trying to get that idea out there, that's where the multimodal steps add in an extra layer of information and help you resolve simple tasks early and gather more context. And again, having this capability, being able to have this agent launched and available around the clock is extremely helpful as well. Okay, so like I had mentioned, shifting gears now into a little bit away from agents. This was something that I thought was really exciting update as well. And if you're familiar, Google has, of course, a great search capability, right? Google's built on top of search. So they have opened the search capabilities up to retail. And this is a tool that used to be called Search for Retail. And it came out a while ago, but now it's been supercharged with AI. And it lets you focus directly into retail for being able, it adds Google's AI search capability into your retail store. So it matches attributes with content on your website. What you're able to do is upload your product catalog and then also all of your user interactions. And what it does is it looks at each product and it understands it as AI. And as a person who searches on a website, it creates a profile based on me. So my search queries are going to be slightly different than Maurice's or Caroline's or Catayoun's. And that, of course, improves customer satisfaction and the way that products are grouped and served, and overall better search results. Really cool feature about this as well is you're able to tune these models. So if I wanted to highlight specific products, or I wanted to maybe bury specific products, maybe I have a campaign going on with a customer, and they're paying for me for a week to highlight a specific t-shirt or one of their SKUs. I'm able to go in and tweak these models so that they can be highlighted. A couple of really cool other goodies inside of the search sort of bubble is conversational filtering. And this is a brand new offering from Google as well. It's still in preview. And the cool thing about it is Bed Bath & Beyond is actually piloting it right now. And you can go to the Bed Bath & Beyond website. I have a link to it here inside of the deck, and try this out for yourself. And at first, you might use it and be like, well, how is this any different from, just going over into maybe like this filter section and selecting specific filters. It really helps with sort of that blank page problem, right? I know I want a rug, but I'm just not really sure what kind of rug I want. I don't really know what size I need, what color options are out there. And this guides the customer using AI to help narrow down their search field. And so far, they've seen really great results with it. Like I said, Bed Bath & Beyond piloted this conversation filtering in Q4. Shoppers better narrow down their search in a higher engagement rate, and a 5% increase in desktop revenue for visitors. I really encourage you to definitely go try that out. It's a lot of fun. So this next piece here is conversational commerce. And this is sort of getting back into the chatbot and agent space. But conversational commerce is that new way that people are going to be searching for products, right? It's the personalized recommendations. It's users asking more complex questions. People are expecting more out of their search, and not just single search word terms anymore, right? They're not just at the bottom here. You have a couple of examples. So Taylor Swift Golden Globe dress. That'd be a great use case for Vertex AI search for commerce. And then you have sort of these single filters that, again, you could use it for the product filtering. But whenever you want more of a back and forth conversation, right? You want more bespoke and narrow down search results. And maybe you don't know what you want. Maybe you want to ideate with something or someone to figure out what you need. And it's really cool for personalized shopping experiences. So I have kind of a little example of this. Let me see. So this is my buddy Alex. This is a demo that we created a while ago that is sort of showing off what it might look like to have that virtual interactive concierge, right? Let's see if we can get it to play again. Nope, that's all we get. All right, that's fine. And if you notice there, what he was doing was chatting in a window, and it was showing him in virtual or in augmented reality different glasses, different sunglass options and things like that. He's chatting back and forth. He said, hey, these are kind of cool, but do you have something else? And then what we built was a prototype essentially that works in tandem with augmented reality to do that virtual try on. And again, this was sort of built before conversational commerce came out, but now that it's supercharged with conversational commerce, you get significantly better results. And it's essentially, like I said, your personalized shopping assistant. Oh, there we go. Cool. So he's there. Yeah, he's trying on the glasses, and then he's going to search for. He's going to say that he really likes those, and then maybe search for something else. Add them to the cart, and again, it's able to handle those complex tasks that as if you were there shopping in person. Awesome. So I have my live demo now that I'm going to show, and this gets a little, it's going to get a little technical. I'm going to show you what Agent Developer Kit looks like under the hood, and kind of the power of having this multi-agent ecosystem. And the demo I'm going to show you is actually for a data science agent. And how many people would love to have a data scientist on staff, right? Well, this takes that capability and distills it essentially on, into agent space onto your computer. And again, we can deploy this into different environments, including agent space. I have it pre-recorded here just in case it doesn't work out, but let me share that window real quick. Let's see. Here we go. Cool. Perfect. So I went ahead and pre-prompted it with the first response because this one takes a little bit of time here. I'm going to enlarge that for us. And again, this is my data scientist agent. And what it is, it's currently hooked into my BigQuery table. So let me actually show you what that looks like. So I have a table inside of BigQuery, and this is sales data. This is a really simple table. I've got ID, date, country, store, product, number sold, things like that. This is just sample data from Kaggle. And you can kind of see what it looks like there. And I'm able to ask it in natural language different questions. So the first one was just simply, hi, what data do you have access to? And it's telling me that I have two tables. I have one for train and one for test for forecasting sticker sales. And I have some of these questions already kind of copied and pasted in my browser here, just because you probably don't want to see me type everything out. But let's do this. So I'm going to ask it for more information on the training table. I'm asking it how many countries exist in the training table and how many stores are there. So just like Catayoun had showed you, where it was using agents to go through and calling out what tools it was using, all the reasoning it was doing, I have the same thing here inside of Agent Developer Kit. This is not a user hold up. I'm not sharing the right screen. There we go. Sorry about that. So rewind. Asked it here to give me more details on the train table, what countries exist, and how many stores there are. It went out and called the database agent. So it's working with another agent already that's specifically trained on the database. And it's asking us for this information, and it gives me the results. Telling me about Finland, Italy, Kenya, and then gives me a little bit of an explanation as to what it just did. And then what I'm going to do is have it, I'm going to say, please generate me a plot with total sales per country. So calling that. And it's working. Doing a little, oh, and then here comes the data store agent. So this is the one that is supercharged with the capability of creating graphs and plots. You can also see over here, another cool thing about Agent Developer Kit is that it shows you where it's at sort of in its architecture. So I'll have kind of a different version of this broken out later, but you can see that on the fly, it's looking at this data. I'm asking it questions. I'm asking it to generate plots and graphs, and it's right out the gate giving me, in this case, this is a bar chart of different sales per country. So, and then an explanation underneath it as to what it just did. And then let's do this. Let's have it, let's create some models. We'll have this agent create another agent essentially, or a model in this case, which is really cool. And I'm going to ask it, what kind of forecasting models can I train in BigQuery ML? So now it's shifting back over to the main agent, where it has the retrieval augmented generation, what Mo mentioned earlier. And again, that's just a corpus of information that it's been provided, where it's regurgitating that information, says, hey, you know, look through the documentation. What kind of BigQuery models can I make with BigQuery ML? It's responded to me here. It's given me two options. And it's also asking me what I want to do next. Do I want any more specific details? So, so since this is working so well, we're going to test fate. And we're going to go off script a little bit here. I'm going to ask it. Now it's going to begin to dig deeper into this specific type of model because, you know, I'm not I have a data scientist on the team, which is my agent here in this case. It should be able to tell me, you know, explain to me in simple language what exactly a RIMA plus model is. And here it does a really great job of breaking it down for me. So that looks good to me. Let's create an RIMA 4. Interesting. I promised you guys I wasn't going to let you see me type, but I'm doing it anyway. Forecasting model. And cool. Great. So now it's walking me through the steps of how to create this model. And it's asking me a couple preliminary questions. What would you like the name of the model to be? Which column contains the timestamp? Okay. So it's already, date already exists, so it knows that. Then it knows num sold. So I'll let you decide the name and maybe the rest of the data looks good. Or let's see the rest of the look good. Let's see what it gives me here. Awesome. Look at this. Cool. So now what it did is said, all right, I'll take the data. I'll come up with my own name for it. And then it went ahead and created me a schema. So if anybody has experience working in BigQuery, this is a query that you would put inside of BigQuery ML or something like that to create this model. And I have had it created models before. It takes time, and I'm not going to belabor that. But and it even calls that out here at the very bottom. Hey, I can run this for you, but it could take several hours, and that's perfectly fine. We don't want it to do that right now, but just the fact that it, if I wasn't on the data science team, needed a data scientist, or I'm a small company that just wants to understand my data better, this really holds your hand, walks you through it. And this was more, like I said, kind of a in the weeds, nerdier example, maybe complex, a little less shiny, right? But maybe you don't have a retail store. Maybe you don't want to use Agent Space to send out emails or something like that. Maybe you do want it to be able to look through all of your data and understand it better and create models. This just sort of shows you a little bit of what that can do. Okay, let me pop back over real quick here to the deck. And the last thing I'm going to show you is just a quick high-level architecture. No, okay, that's the recorded demo. So we'll fast forward through that. There we go. Cool. So what did we just see? We saw us communicating with our main agent here, and our main agent has the capability of, first of all, interacting with these tools that are built. It's able to reach out to the data store, which is doing that retrieval augmented generation, just like our machine learning agent's able to do. And then it's also able to look at artifacts inside of our BigQuery table. It's then able to reach out to our machine learning agent, which is specialized on creating models, executing queries, and then also reaching out to our retrieval augmented generation tool. And you could imagine this tree sort of growing, right? You could have something that, again, sends out an email. Maybe you want it to automate this where, hey, every month, create this graph and send it to the marketing team or something like that. So again, the phrase that I used at the beginning of this talk, unlocking new possibilities, I got really excited whenever I saw this. And like I said, I'm not even on the marketing team or anything like that. So I was like, ooh, what kind of cool models can I make? And what kind of graphs can I make? But that's it for my section for now. And looks like pass it over to Caroline.
Thank you. I'm just going to grab to present. So this next session is really just to kind of go through some different questions about building that effective AI strategy and allowing Matt and Mo to kind of give you some of our knowledge there to help you get started. So let me just grab that one moment. Okay. So the questions that we have here on the screen have kind of come to us through experience with our customers, experience through Google as well. And we wanted to bring some of these to today's session to discuss. Also, if you have your own questions, feel free to put them in the Q&A now, and we can address them. One of the big questions that has come up in a lot of discussions to implement AI specifically for small and medium businesses is what's the best approach? Is it to build? Did you buy something out of the box? Should you do both? So I'm going to hand it over to Maurice first. Just kind of share with us your thoughts on that, and then we'll let Matt chime in.
I can't even remember what I said, but I'm sure it's on the same lines as our live discussion. What's your use case? Sometimes it's going to be both. Sometimes it's going to be just buy something that's already there. You know, if you're looking for a productivity, you're looking for AI for productivity and you're already on Google Workspace, I'm not going to tell you, because of the competition, I'm not going to tell you to buy you know, one of the other AIs when you already get it free with your subscription. So you just use that. If you're looking more at, you know, Vertex, the implementations into your systems, then what's your use case? If it's to surface the data that's already in your company silos of spreadsheets and databases and stuff, then I'm going to tell you to potentially buy, but this is the most simplest buy of ever, which is to use Agent Space, because Agent Space is, you know, I'm making maybe slightly light of it, but it's like the equivalent of 10 clicks, you're up and running, you can then surface your data and start, you know, providing that sort of productivity across your whole business. If you want something more bespoke and more interfacing with your customers, and you need it to be in a particular style and to do particular things, just like Matt has demoed, then build. So, you know, it really does depend on your use case, but if you talk to us or talk to Google about your use case, then we can help you find the right solution.
Yeah, Maurice stole the good answer.
Sorry.
That's exactly what I was going to say. You know, like I think if anything, this webinar has shown that, you know, there's a lot of things outside of, you know, right out of the box that you could use, right? There's the tools that Google offers, and then there's the custom stuff that I get really excited about, that we could build you that maybe doesn't exist, that you could use as well.
All right, just because of time, I'm also just going to jump ahead to our next slide. So again, I think a question that has come up with other SMB organizations that we've spoken to is what's the strategy for them versus large enterprises? I think a lot of use cases, success stories, and all the hype that we hear is very much around very large organizations implementing and it being fantastic. For SMBs, what do they need to consider to build that strategy? What do they need to have in mind so that they can get the best out of it as well? Mo?
Go on, Matt. I stole your thunder last time.
I was going to. Of course, the first thing that I think of is data. I think it's up there on the screen already, but from a custom development perspective, especially, like data is king, right? And maybe you're a small enough business to where you think that you don't have valuable data that's worth collecting, and I can tell you that that's not true. And I would lean more on the side of collecting more data than having not enough data, because generating more data, especially whenever you wanted to create a model or something like that, is extremely difficult, not always a good idea. But also on the flip side of that, there's data that you could borrow. There's huge data sets online that if there's a specific use case, maybe you want to build something for your business that you don't have the data for yet. You know, there's data sets that exist already as well that we can borrow from. Just sort of depends on the use case. But the first thing one of the challenges to me comes data.
Yep, chiming in on that. So, Matt, you got the good one. Data was always king. Skills is a big deal. It depends on obviously what you're trying to do with the data, where you're trying to go. So, if you're trying to generate, say, the equivalent of what you might have in a spreadsheet, then you've probably already got the skills. You just got to think about how you can apply it. And the little cheat tip here is you have an AI assistant, just ask it. That's the cheat on the skills for the more simplistic stuff. For the more deep and dark delve type stuff, again, either you build up the skills or you bring in people with the skills or you hire people like us with the skills. Budget, again, like everything in life, we always think, oh, I'd love to do this. And then you have say you're transforming your house and you go, I have this brilliant idea. And then you ask someone to give you a quote, you go, yeah, that's not happening. Or as I've said to some people, that's not happening in my lifetime. I'll never have that much money. So the art of the possible and the imagination are wonderful things, but you do sometimes have to bring it in. And sometimes you can achieve what you need with the budget you've got and even less, and sometimes you need a bit more. It's just a part of life. But budget is, from a technical standpoint, from a services standpoint, from an IT budget standpoint, is no more expensive than it ever was for anything else you were doing. If you were building a big application and you were going to be heavy on data and read writes and all that sort of stuff, your budget is still going to be on par with that sort of thing. How can an SMB assess their AI readiness? As much as some people are probably going to virtually kick me, like Caroline, the first thing I'm going to say is just because you're listening to us talk about AI and you're hearing all the hype about AI, if you're not ready, then it's a bad idea to try and force it. However, if you are genuinely interested, you really want to do and use AI and you can see a possibility for it, then you're already on that roadmap of readiness. And then talk to maybe a couple of colleagues about, do they use it, and see how they're using it. Try and look at what are the use cases you want to use, i.e., do you need it to help you with, I don't know, as I mentioned earlier, generating some artwork because you're doing a presentation, or do you need it for productivity? Do you need it to enhance your business and do more fancy stuff of reading out of the large data stores like BigQuery, like Matt was demoing? In which case, if you've got those use cases, then you're starting your AI readiness, and then speak to Google, speak to people like us who can then help you on that roadmap. As Wursta, we have a AI readiness program, which we are still, I think it's fair to say, sort of formulating, because AI isn't standing still either. So it's a little bit of shifting plates, but we do have and hold the expertise, or more to the point, we hold the passion. I'm a cloud architect, but I'm enjoying the AI. I'm loving the AI. Matt, he blows me away all the time. So, find people with the passion for it and talk to them, and you'll be on that readiness map.
Yeah, I wanted to chime in there too real quick. As far as budget and readiness goes, I feel like the barrier to entry has never been so low for such a groundbreaking technology, right? So like I mentioned at the top of my talk, I worked with blockchain for a little while. And the barrier to entry for blockchain, you had to have a special Chrome extension. You had to manage your own keys. You had to have knowledge of security and different things like this, and have a little bit of information behind you. Where for AI, just being able to revolutionize small parts of your business, some of it's free. You could go to, I think Gemini has free credits. ChatGPT, which I know is sometimes a dirty word that we use here, is also accessible. but just simply being able to get access to these tools, and you don't have to run them locally on your machine. You don't have to have specialized equipment or anything like that. And for a lot of the instances, the upstart is free. So as far as readiness goes, I would just say just start trying and focus on a small part of your business. It doesn't have to be some groundbreaking data science thing like I showed. Just, start using it to refine your email, start using it to refine your marketing copy, or looking through contracts and things like that.
Just going to add one thing on to the end of Matt's point there. By all means, try those tools. I'm a cloud architect, but I also have a security first thing, and something sent alarm bells through my head. Thanks, Matt. Which was, if you do choose to use any or try any of these AI tools like the Geminis, the Chat GPTs, etc., please make sure that you're doing it either in your paid, if it's for your business, do it in your paid environment or get a paid environment. Otherwise, the data you are inserting into Gemini or to ChatGPT or any of the others, potentially, not necessarily, but potentially can be used to train the models, which is their upcoming models, which is not what you want. And it is part of their terms of service. But I know none of us read that. So I just wanted to bring it up.
Thank you both. And just to give a little bit more color to the AI readiness. So when we first presented this back in March, we were working on that foundation of what the AI readiness looks like. And both Matt and Mo have mentioned it. So at Wursta, we've put together an AI readiness assessment where we can work with you to go through those specific use cases, whether it be a specific department or specific need, or if you'd like to do a full diagnostic of your organization to understand where AI can help and where it can start. We find that this is probably the best way to bring you to reality. Sometimes it's a nice experience, sometimes it might not be, but it will give you the information necessary to then kind of take those next steps. So we just have about 10 minutes left here. We do have a couple of more already created questions here, but I do want to open the floor for Q&A within our Q&A section. I've checked, there's nothing in there yet. So this is the time, whether you'd like to put that into Q&A or into the chat as well. We can use that. Alternatively, I think we still have some good talking points here, excuse me, to continue. I'm just going to pause for a second, see if any questions arise. The overwhelming silence shows me we've done a fantastic job and you are all now masters and ready to conquer the world. So I think probably that one last point there is probably the only one that we haven't covered in the last few minutes, is kind of where specific areas there might be quick wins that we might be able to suggest as food for thought for our attendees. Thoughts on that, gentlemen?
Quick wins. If you're a workspace customer, I think that having Gemini inside of Workspace is a great place to start. Again, going back to sort of the readiness as well. The quick win there is being able to solve that blank page problem whenever you're creating documents. Have it look over emails that maybe you think, maybe you're typing out an email and you think it sounds funny. I do this all the time, where I'll have a thought that I need to convey in an email, and it just sounds like garbage whenever I write it. And I'm like, hey, Gemini, can you just like make this make sense? And then it does such a great job. So with my communication skills in general, I think it's made me better at that. So, I mean, that's kind of a cop out because, it's a tool that you can just add on to your workspace, but I think that's a quick win.
I disagree with you, Matt, on the fact that it's a cop-out. It's not a cop-out. It's what AI is built for. It's to help us become more effective and work faster, or not necessarily work faster, but just work more effectively. And like you, I'm doing the same sort of things. I haven't got to the summarizing the email bit yet, which I probably should, considering how slow a reader I actually am. But definitely it's helped me with a lot of things to do. I think the other quick wins is they're not necessarily quick wins. They put you on the path to a quick win, which is defining your use cases. So when you come to talk to us, yes, we can help you work through that, and we can, get you to that point where we understand what the use cases are and then move forward. But that just kind of brings you down. Now, I'm not saying you have to have a perfect use case, but if you've got an idea of what the use case is about, maybe this is the end goal, and maybe a middle bit or a beginning bit, then those are the sort of things that help you get to those quick wins as well.
Fantastic. Just our last few minutes, I've actually launched a poll, which should appear to everybody, hopefully, on the side. And just for us to kind of get an idea of where you are in your journey. So there's a couple going now, so take your time to fill that out. I don't know if you can see it. I'm learning how to use these things as we go as well. So
I did see it pop up.
Okay, fabulous. All right. Well, with that, I think we have kind of covered everything we intended to today. Still haven't had any questions come in, so I'm going to take that as you did a phenomenal job, and every question anyone could have ever had has been addressed. Alternatively, if you do have a specific question for us or for Catayoun, who had to leave early, please do let us know after, and we would love to speak with you, set up one-to-one, discuss where you'd like to go, and hopefully we'll find a way to work together. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for joining, and have a fantastic day.